Welcome. The Bose Professional Videobar line of conferencing devices incorporates an adaptive microphone array. The VB1's mic array is made up of 6 elements, while the VBS features 4, and each device's mic array functions the same way to digitally form into 4 discrete beams. Each beam provides a narrow pickup that automatically and dynamically aims at the talkers in the space. This minimizes room reverberations for remote participants and keeps the conversation flowing smoothly without syllables being dropped or voices ramping up and down. Microphone beams can be configured in 2 different use cases, either dynamic or static mode. This tutorial will describe these details and how to set them up. The Videobar configuration app is used to configure the microphone settings. As an alternative, you can use the Videobar configuration web UI once first-time network setup is completed and the Bose Professional Videobar device is connected to the computer via USB as well as the network. I'll use the app version for this tutorial. To start, navigate to the admin settings, type in the password, and choose the audio tab. On the microphone page, you'll get a live video stream window with the microphone beams overlaid. Bose Professional Videobar devices are configured in dynamic mode from the factory. Below the video window, under beam type, is where you can choose the 2 different beam options, dynamic or static. In dynamic beam mode, the microphone system actively searches the room for talkers and automatically adjusts and directs the 4 beams to the people speaking in the room. The moving white line represents the active roaming technology that searches for the loudest sources and instantly directs beams accordingly. The adaptive microphone system will continue to automatically move the locations of the beams as in-room participants talk. Dynamic mode is best used for most environments, especially those where people will occupy seats at random, move around the space, or when more than 4 talkers can be present in the room at any time. For instance, in this conference room example, one of the attendees gets up to write on the whiteboard. As they move, you want the mic beams to dynamically track them and provide seamless microphone pickup. Static beam mode turns off the roaming automation feature. The 4 beams are fixed, and you can manually direct them to the optimal talker positions. This static mode use case scenario is a location with up to 4 talkers who will be seated in the same fixed positions. If desired, you can delete beams for fewer seats. Now that you know the mode differences, let's return to the dynamic beam type and discuss the configuration options. Let's click on the full screen button to expand our screen view. Click on the Configure Room dropdown. This does not affect the microphone beams. It instead allows you to change beams' visual representation so you can best match the perspective of the live video feed. You can adjust the width and depth, which can help when viewing how the beams intersect with presenters in the room. For me, I like to find my farthest talker location and adjust the depth and width so it aligns right at their chin. Located at the lower left and lower right corners of the video window, you can view gray areas called exclusion zones. They help minimize unwanted noise by designating areas in which dynamic microphone beams will never be directed. You can increase or decrease the coverage by clicking and dragging the edge of each exclusion zone to the desired angle. When the line of the edge is bold, it indicates that it's selected and you can drag it. You can also add another exclusion zone when you need to split mic pickup areas. For instance, in this conference room, there's an open door. You don't want people walking by the door to be picked up by the microphone beams. By clicking the Add Exclusion Zone button, you can add a zone and click inside it to move its location. By clicking and dragging either edge, you can increase or decrease its width. To remove it, click on the trash can icon. Next, let's move on to the static mode settings. After clicking the radio button, a pop-up to save beams as static will appear. Click the Save button to activate static mode. Now you can click inside each beam and move their location. You can remove a beam by clicking on the trash can icon. To restore, you can click on the Add Beam button. The lower left and lower right exclusion zones are not adjustable, and there's no center exclusion zone because the microphone pickup is fixed to the static beam locations. To close, your key takeaways are Bose Professional Videobar VB devices have an adaptive microphone array system that digitally forms into 4 discrete beams. The microphone beams can be configured in dynamic or static mode. The Videobar configuration app or web UI version is used to configure them. Dynamic mode is the default state and best use for spaces where talkers will move around or when more than 4 talkers are present at any time. Static mode is best used for spaces with up to 4 talkers and have fixed seating locations like a meeting booth. Exclusion zones are provided in dynamic mode. There are 2 fixed zones and 1 user-defined zone available for a total of 3. Exclusion zones keep the microphone beam tracking outside of these defined regions. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to view our entire Bose professional video bar tutorial library so you can become an expert.